Yo, we live. Yo, man. After Raw recap, that's a lot to talk about, gentlemen.
Lot to talk
I don't know.
about. We can go here, we can go there, we can go left, we can go right. We could talk about some lies. We could talk about the truth. We can do whatever. We got a lot to talk
Are we gonna
about.
talk
We ain't
about the
gonna be in
our
front of you
truth?
for too long. Attitude Era Podcast Monday Night Raw recap. That is Gamaj. That is King HP. I am the Archie Carter, and the doors to the church are now open. What's up, fellas? Happy
Yeah,
Monday,
but
man. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to all the
hey,
viewers. Let's start this week off right, even though WWE tried to put us in a bad mood. That is King H.
I feel like this. Happy Monday, y'all. It's Monday. We got some new qualifiers. We know the matches for this Saturday. How you feel about that? I don't know. They put hard times on our truth. Yo, Matthew Jenkins.
I
Where we
feel,
start?
honestly, bro, I don't. There's a lot of lack of excitement in the WWE right now. I remember once upon a time, just a few years ago, Money in the Bank was a big deal. It was a huge deal. It was something you look forward to. You might even had it as your big three because it was such a big deal and you knew something was going to happen. It was exciting. Dude, I forgot it was Saturday till they said it on Raw because we just came off of a PLE. I said this last pod, a lot of it doesn't feel special anymore because it happens so frequently, So I don't know. And then that ending is kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
What you think about Gamad? I see the wheels turn. I see the rat moving on the joint.
I'm trying not to get pissed off. I'm not gonna hold you.
I like pissed off Gamad. You know what I'm
I don't
saying? Gamad.
because I always get attacked. How you feel, HP? Then we're gonna get into it, man.
I really I kind of agree with you, Archie.
Hold up, Matthew. I agree. They cut down on house shows and gave us more PLEs. He said they treating PLEs like house shows. That's a
Yeah.
tough statement.
I really feel like Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs. Like and this is the stains from all these water bottles I had to carry upstairs. They all spilled all over me. But I really feel like there's no difference when you cut everything to 5 matches. We thought we would get better quality, but that's not the case. You've seen that with Street Profits. Street Profits never get on PLE, and they give you the better match before the PLE, and the PLE kind of we talk about when we rate those.
Daddy Hunter pissed.
WWE
Damn,
is mid,
nobody happy?
bro. It's mid. It's mid, or it's Miz. If we're gonna take it there, um, they have no idea what they're doing. It's clear. It's abundant. When you got The Rock, your TKO board, one of your TKO board members, he going on shows. Pat McAfee saying we didn't even know you doing behind the show. Vince McMahon, if he had died already, he would be rolling in his grave, but he's still alive.
And he rolling
And
over in his grave. He's still alive and rolling over in his grave.
yeah,
You know
it's
what's going to
just
be
like
sad? When I remember Dame Dash said the one thing he never wanted to do with Jay-Z, he never wanted him to be looked at as viewed as being corny. And then the end of it all, their whole beef and everything, it made them look corny. Maybe I said that wrong. He said something like that. Vince McMahon, God bless his soul, is going to pass away, not even recognizing the company and culture that he built for wrestling.
no, he won't. He won't.
That's
And
I personally think that that's terrible.
they're doing everything for money. And I get it, you're a business. But there's still like a legacy and a holding you want to keep for fan service. There's still certain things. The fact that you have gone away from wrestling, you're going away from what wrestling is. And we're gonna get the new tables now with the Slim Jim logos on them because they got the new logo with Slim. Like when I look at the Monday Night Raw ring, I'm okay with a couple logos. I'm a boxing guy, so I get it. I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, you know what I used to miss? When you used to have like SummerSlam '88 or fucking WrestleMania 13, and the blood stains the mat. You know, some shit went down.
It
That is
looks
a
like
long era
somebody got
gone.
on 2K25 and created an arena
That's what it looks like.
and just put their logos on everything. But
Gamash,
since
what's
we
up with
talking
you,
about
man?
it, can we get into this R-Truth thing real quick and then get into the
Yeah, I'm
show?
trying to get Gamash. I'm trying to get Gamash to open up, man. He looked mad.
No,
I'm trying to
I
get
don't
the
know if we
anger.
want that. I don't know if we want that. I see I got my jacket on, Charlotte to the heart. R-Truth is a Charlotte, North Carolina boy, and we're gonna get into it.
What you got? What you got, Gamash?
So, as fans of the sport, if it's one criticism we all get, every single one of us, it's that we try not to look at things through a business perspective. And I can understand that. But at the same token, I don't think people in the business look at it through a fan's perspective. Because we could easily say, yes, this was a business decision or whatever the case may be. But you need your fans to continue your business. You need your fans to make your money. So is there any second where you would think they would look at it as, if we're fans of this sport, what would we want to make it work? Because that's what's going to keep it going. And I really don't think they look at it that way.
Well, when Bret Hart was on this very podcast, he said when he thought of matches, he thought of it from a fan sitting in the front row. What would a fan want to see? And also, when we covered Who Killed WCW on this very podcast, Eric Bischoff ran into that very problem with WCW. It was people running a wrestling company who weren't wrestling fans and didn't know wrestling. And it's starting to kind of feel like that again.
I think we're way past that now. They're so far locked in. Once TKO became the primary board and you got Vince McMahon up out of there, Vince McMahon, when they sold to TKO, let's go back a little bit. He was still the primary shareholder of WWE. I don't know if that's still the case, but he's off the board, so it doesn't matter. It's just like me having stocks of ORC. Doesn't even fucking matter. And now they're running wild. The Rock don't know what he's doing. I remember an interview with The Rock where he was talking about Vince McMahon. He wanted double the money Stone Cold. And The Rock said, and Vince told him, like, all right, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go with the cameraman. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And then after like so many months of doing that, I want you to come back and then let's negotiate. And when he came back, he was like, yeah, because he started to see the business side, how much it takes to run the lights, the light crew, the camera guys, you know what I'm saying? People who set up, the breakdown, you know what I'm saying? People running concessions, all this stuff, getting them. You're asking for so much money, double what the top guy is making, and you guys are drawing the same. Why would I pay you? So that little bit. But now he's in charge. They are they're looking at this like NBA contracts almost. What do you bring to the table? Okay, your contract, you're getting 3 million. You're gonna go to 3.54. Well, hey, in 2000, the top guy was making 3.2 million. Let's try to cut costs back to that. Because right now, I know y'all remember this last year when they released the top 10 paid WWE superstars and Roman Reigns led the charge. It was like 12 million or 15 million. And then the next guys were like 9 or 10 million. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Number 6 was Rhea Ripley. She was around 6 or 7 million. So some of these guys, like R-Truth, who's tenured, he's got 17 years. I don't know what his contract was. But they're looking at it going, what you give and what we pay you don't work. So we're not
Well, I
firing you. We're
think
just not going to repay
R-Truth
you.
is a unique case because, for one, you can't pay me then get mad at what you pay me. What I
No,
really think is happening is
that's business.
I think what's happening is they're renegotiating contracts with very little money. And people are looking at it like, you know what, this ain't worth it. That's what I think. Yes, that's
I,
business,
I,
but you can't get mad at me for what you're paying me. That's all negotiations. That's the
I,
contract. You
I
mentioned the
don't, I don't,
NBA.
I don't agree with that. And for a couple reasons. One, TKO was not involved with everyone's contract prior to TKO coming in about 2 years ago. So people are in their contracts that they can't do anything about. But here's a quick example. You fired Alberto Del Rio just to rehire him. Why? Well, let's restructure this thing. right? Two, you got to look at and understand this. This is a very business deal. Like, take all your wrestling heart out of this. WWE is not the primary. WWE ain't the breadwinner at TKO. It is the UFC. How much do the top guys at UFC make? Nowhere near what WCW, nowhere near what WWE guys are making, right? So when WWE TKO is looking at that and going, my guys have more notoriety than you. We need to start cutting costs. A lot of people might end up. Braun Strowman just got cut, and they came out and said, well, due to his injuries and the lack of what we get out of him, his contract was too high. We released him. That was what they came out with Braun Strowman. Same thing with the saying about R-Truth. We're not renewing because the annual increases. All of a sudden, guess who's on chopping block? Miz. His contract ends this year. Talking about July, August. Guess what? He just did it. Delete everything off his account. And we said that in the chat. I said it straight up. Miz is next. You're making WWE Championship money, $6-7 million, but in WWE that's fine. But TKO goes, no, it's not fine. I'm not paying you what I pay Rhea Ripley, who gives every night and draws the house. So maybe they come back and get restructured. Maybe they end up in TNA and they get funneled through this WWE deal. But TKO is, I'm waiting for them to see Roman Reigns' contract. We sell out shows without you, brother. 15 million, you're the top guy, and we only get 50 appearances from you. Seth Rollins gets 12, and we get 190 appearances from him. I'm just waiting to see it. I'm just waiting to see it.
Crickets.
Okay, so we got a dead spot.
No, I was just letting you have it because I was trying to talk and you wasn't letting me, so I was letting you have it.
I mean, I just, when you say it's like that, I'm like, bro, there's actual like information out there on this. So we don't have to, certain things we don't got to guess. We can just, we can read it and go, okay. Well, if that's the case, then what about these guys? What about a Roman Reigns? He gives you 50 appearances and he gets 50 million.
Well, but we don't know nothing as fans, to be honest. We don't know nothing. It's all speculation and
talking.
It's all speculation and what we think, right? But I do know, again, I'm an eye test guy. You mentioned the NBA. One thing about business is you can do business good, you can do business ugly, but it's still a respectful way to do business. The NBA, perfect example. When a guy's been with your company, gave it everything, put his body and life on the line for you, and he might not be part of that team no more, at least the NBA has the decency to say, you know what? Let's sign this guy for one day so he could retire a Laker or he could retire a Clipper and we can hang the jersey up. There's a certain way to treat people and let people go out when they do have a value that you can't put money on. The wrestling world is shook. Dog, if you didn't know R-Truth got fired and you was on social media, you would have probably thought he died. That's how people are taking this and talking about this. People that's in WWE, people not in WWE, people who's never been in WWE. They're taking this like it feels like he died. God, knock on wood, nothing happens to the man, but I hope he feels that love. There's a way to do certain things, and he put it out on a random Sunday and was like, you know what? That's it. People thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. There's a way to do things and treat people who's been with you for a while amicably. I'm not saying you gotta give them the Kobe farewell tour, but it's just a way that you show people appreciation. And that I just don't think it was given because everybody is shook by this. I haven't seen not one negative comment. I've not seen one person with a bad story about him. And again, you can't put a value on morale. You can't tell me that people was happy to go to work tonight. You can't put a value on what people mean to people. Right. And like, think about it. When you go to work and your work partner ain't there, that's a long day at work.
Yeah.
When you used to go to school, you ain't see your homie on the school bus, you want to get off that school bus and go home because it's just different. And a lot of people probably got a reality check today. You know what? Nobody's safe. Even the tenured guy who has the value you can't put a number on. Perfect example, another basketball analogy. Draymond Green is not nearly the best basketball player in the world, but you can't put a value on what he brings to that team. You know what I'm saying? Certain people just have a value that you can't put money on. And that's unfortunate side of business because you don't know. Again, if you didn't know what happened, you would have thought this man passed away because that's how much it's affected the whole wrestling world. And not in my 20, 30 years of fandom, I would have thought R-Truth would have been the one to shake shit up and get it shaking like this. Would being released. Never in my life. All the wrestlers that have got fired, that quit, got released, I would have never thought it would have been R-Truth. But you don't know the value and you can't put a number on that. And that's the sad part. But that's just my spill on it.
I think when you look in terms of that, right, there's a large argument to make for that because you clearly see his value. Like, on top of that, and we had this conversation. They rushed the R-Truth thing. You really could have did something with it. There was money there to be drawn. So it's like, bro, if you don't give me a storyline, right? You give me the bare bones. Ron R-Truth ain't really had no great storylines. He had the Miz thing and stuff like that, but like he was killing everything he got put to where you just got to give him at least 5 minutes of story time. Just give him something. Let him get out there with whatever tag team. Let him get out there with whatever people. Let him just mix some shit up, and he always delivered. Then you put him in the main event picture, and he kind of shined.
Well, he's
I
been a
don't know if he knew.
champion everywhere he's been outside of
Except
WWE. It's something about WWE who only put him in a comedic act, and that's another thing. That's the brilliance of R-Truth is he took the least and made the most of it. A lot of people couldn't have. It's like watching Chopped, and he just got the worst basket ever on Chopped, but he made a meal that all the judges love. He took everything they gave him and made it work, or at least tried to make it work. When a lot of those gimmicks and spots and promos would have killed people's careers, or they wouldn't even did it. And that's another thing. He earned everything he got. So whatever he got, he earned it. Being 54 years old, just coming back from an injury, which is rare. He was rarely hurt. He can outperform a lot of wrestlers today, and he's. I don't think R-Truth has never not been over. Like, it's crazy when you really think of his career and the spots he was in. But when you see what he means to people, I'm not glad that it happened, but I am glad that he gets to feel the love and the effect that he did have on the business and people in the business.
Right. There was a crazy outpouring. Yo, did you go to Triple H's when he announced that?
They killing Triple H in the comments.
Oh, yeah, smoked.
Oh God,
Stephanie, hey, you need to take Triple H phone. Put it on airplane mode or something. Triple H, and that's another thing about this. I don't believe Triple H is making a lot of these decisions because it's a board now. It's a new regime, but he's the face of it, and he's going to get the praise, but he's also going to get this. Them comments are nasty,
no one
boy.
wants to make. I think they go, hey, you got to release, and then they give him names, right? And he goes, what the fuck? And then they go, hey, this is on you. But really, it's like I wasn't even talking about releasing anybody. Hey, you got to do it, big dog. You got to make the cut. And so now here he is taking the shit. But truth be told, TKO brought him that. This is what you will do.
Here's the other thing about this. You mentioned maybe he goes to TNA. With WWE buying AAA and all these other companies and working with companies, if you leave WWE on a bad note, that really limits your options at this point because they are involved with other companies. They did buy AAA. They do have Evolve. They are working with Booker, Sets, Mark Henry, and Cody School. So your options are very limited once you leave WWE because everybody's not going to get the Indy Hartwell treatment. She got released and got signed to TNA. And now she's a champion, which again is like, and the thing is, if you were going to restructure the contract and send her to TNA, you could have did that without releasing her. It's just a lot of business that I don't know and I can't get into because I don't know. But from the outside looking in, the more they buy, the less options is going to be. And that's not good when you only have the one thing, right? It's weird. And then on top of that, the ratings. They just took a hit in ratings on Raw.
I think there's two things that's gonna kill WWE. PKO, and we're seeing it in real time. And Netflix. You have to give Netflix. People act like Netflix don't be cutting shows. If you don't make the
They'll give you
deal,
one
you
season
don't
of a
make.
show, and mid first season they'll cut the cord. Like I asked some TV people about this. I was like, why do shows get one season or two seasons? And they said because when they release shows, that one show a season is really a commercial to draw people to the app. And if that's not giving them what they want immediately, they'll cut it. I said this in the chat. A lot of small fires can burn the building down. This is the thing I don't think we even looking at with WWE. WWE has been its own thing since its inception. They've never had a boss. They got a boss now.
They got a boss.
And everybody
ugly.
can't work for a boss.
But you know what's funny you say this, right? We had this conversation kind of teetered around this, I think it was like Friday or whatever. WCW, when they were running, they were killing WWE, right? But the thing that killed WCW was they had bosses. They had people they had to answer to. And when they had to answer to them, those people killed WCW because they had no interest in wrestling. They didn't understand how it works, blah, 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 blah. The
Yeah,
list goes
Bischoff
on.
said that they got to a point where they had to start running everything by the execs, and they didn't care about it.
And that's, we're about to watch this shit in real time again. The problem is this is the Premier League. Ricochet made an interesting comment where a fan had said something about he was pissed about the Carmelo Hayes not getting a qualifying match, not winning, right? Which I agree with. Why wouldn't Andre John, this is how you get momentum, start moving people out of the mid tier, blah blah. But they're just all over. Like a guy could get hot and then you cool him off automatically for a guy who's not, and then you just mix and match and mix and match and mix and match. And it's like, bro, what are y'all doing, right? But Ricochet responded with, yeah, but WWE is the big time. They
You
get the
made it.
most exposure.
He
Which
said that's the
you made.
prize. He
That's it.
said the prize is
Anything else
WWE.
is being selfish. And I go back to the comment of the graveyard. And now you're gonna really see it. Because I think talent is gonna start trying not to come to WWE, but they don't know where to go. So it's like maybe we go to AEW. Maybe there's a new promotion coming up. Because I want legacy. I want to win
Well,
champion. I want to be a
that goes to
champion.
what I just said. They just bought AAA. They in business with TNA, and they have all the schools and Evolve and LF. Like, where would you go? Like, the options are few. The options are few, bro.
You'll
And
be in
that's
Ring of Honor, you'll be in New Japan, or you'll be in AEW. I mean, that's really and The Rock was wearing a New Japan shirt like a couple weeks ago. So who knows?
well, they mentioned doing business
Mercedes
with New
Moné lost
Japan.
that belt, huh?
Shinsuke just wrestled there a few months ago, and I believe AJ did something too. So they in bed with a lot of people.
Hey, Mercedes Moné, no coincidence, lost that title. You know what I mean? Rock wore a shirt that it wouldn't surprise me, even if we're not in business, you're just in good relationship, right? Because that's
You
another
have enough
aspect.
influence to say, you know what? Don't sign that guy. And we'll never know why the guy don't get signed. But, man, thoughts and prayers to everybody involved. Sarah Logan says she's not coming back. Carlito said they want him to pay back money.
Bro, I hope that was a work because WWE, bro, if you look at Roman Reigns, you gotta definitely expect they're gonna ask Roman for money back.
Again, unless he worked that into his contract, we don't know. But Carlito's been on TV every week.
Every week.
And he just won a title outside of WWE. It seems like your value may be more outside of WWE, but you locked in with WWE because Carlito really has done nothing since he's been back.
No, just comedic acts.
And he's a cologne. He's a
tag match,
he's a superstar outside of WWE. But the average fan don't even know that.
Bro, this man just takes pins and makes comedic comments. That's all he does. That's all the
wrestling
WWE
has changed. WWE has changed. There's a lot going on these next few weeks. Going to be very interesting. They even muted the "We Want Truth" chants out tonight.
Yeah, you heard that, right?
Yeah, there was a few that made it out the cracks a little bit, but they muted a lot of them.
It's bad.
WWE is rewriting history. And you talked about this. Like, they'll change things, but they're also doing it in real time. Add cheers here. Add a chant. They'll add a whole chant that's not even happening.
They've been doing that for years, pumping noise into things, and again, you know why? Because it's a TV show. On a comedy sitcom, you got a laugh track. On a wrestling show, you got a crowd chant. So I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of crowd chants, let's get into Raw, man. We just spent 25 minutes on this. Where you want to go, HP?
Before we do that,
Man,
it's one other thing I want to address too.
Uh-oh.
If I'm Tony Khan, because we give a lot of shit about AEW, especially with their story and their writing team. What's going on right now? If I'm Tony Khan, this is the perfect time to get shit together. This is when you strike when the iron is hot. If he does what everyone's been suggesting him to do, get a good writing team, or even let's say you supposedly get R-Truth, show him our morale here, the morale in this company way better. What they ain't give you, we'll appreciate you here, even if it's not a wrestling role, an ambassador role, a manager role, from a comedic perspective, whatever the case may be. This is the perfect time to do that, and I promise you, in a few weeks to a month, everything flips for him.
I agree. Whenever his
If
contract's up,
R-Truth popped out on Wednesday with a microphone and says, "Hey, Bobby, Shelton, Mercedes, the Hardy Boys, man, it surely is good to be on Monday night," and they cut him off. Ratings it'll go crazy. Oh, I'm not. Oh, yeah, my bad. Then he leave, and you're like, "What? Jericho? All my friends are here." You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Y'all still competing for titles? They got to do it.
I don't even know
they
if
got to do it.
Wants to wrestle at this age and with that exit. But see, then you can turn him. He can be a super heel outside of WWE. You know why? Because y'all did me this, now I'm doing that. Go back to when he was a champion. He was a champion outside of this company. But in this company, same thing I feel about Chelsea Green. Is certain roles they lock people in and they don't let them. Chad Gable's wrestling twice this weekend. Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, so you fire your people and have one person work 2 shows. Like, what are we doing?
Shinsuke Nakamura ain't working at all. And you got wrestlers working 2 matches. Stephanie Vicure, 2 matches. You know what I mean? Like, WWE.
And then when somebody pop a ligament or miss a spot, you can't say, hey, you got me doing double duty. For what? You have a stacked roster. Nobody should be wrestling twice.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Forget the injuries, because that could always happen, but that's a thing that you got to look at too. But like, you got guys who ain't wrestling that we wonder where they at. Well, we ain't got nothing for them. You just threw Chad Gable in a championship match in the league. He ain't never wrestled a match in.
And then he won tonight. Like, it's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, we don't know. We can only speculate. You know, we get on these pods and talk from a fan's point. But to Gamaja's point, a lot of people in business don't think about the fan. I know it's people CEOs of restaurants who don't eat in their fast food restaurants because they feel the product is not good enough for them. I know people in tech companies who don't let their children do certain things or access certain things because of the risk. So most of these businesses, they're not thinking about the consumer. And that's just the unfortunate side of it. But when you do get somebody who thinks about the consumer, they give them hell or they don't get support. So I don't know.
I wonder what is the future of WWE. Because to me right now,
it's a lot of people on the edge of taking a break, though. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's a lot of people like, you know what? It might be time to step back from this for a minute. I've been saying that for weeks. Like, dog, y'all might just get a whole bunch of original content on this channel because these recaps.
I'm tired of watching this going 6 at best. 6 at bit 5, 4. Like, golly, man.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, and again, I don't think Tony Khan's gonna do it because I'm not gonna hold you. I don't think he got the balls to do it. But if Tony Khan pulls that trigger, that's another wake up call for WWE. Because shit is gonna change if he gets it right, and AEW can get it right. And this is the
AEW.
If there was ever a time to fix everything, this is the time to do it.
Don't forget this. WCW wasn't shit till one day it was. All it took was one guy to go over who was a mid-card. Razor Ramon wasn't world champion 3, 4, 5 times. He was in the main event picture. Don't tell me he was, because he wasn't. And when he left, he really wasn't even getting that much burn because he missed out on WrestleMania 12. Supposed to do the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, popped on the drug test, yada yada yada. They filled him with Roddy Piper. He missed the April pay-per-view. They had Vader
Scott Hall
squash
ain't do
the
no
fuck out of
drugs.
him. And then it could have been. I don't know.
It's a poppy
That's
seed muffin. Dude, Scott Hall ain't do no drugs.
Bobby C. Muffins. And next thing you know, he ended up in WCW with a jean jacket, walking through the crowd. And that
And
changed
you know what he
everything.
said, though? You know who I am. That's a very important part of that phrase. You know who I am. Now, what if R-Truth pop up in AEW? You know who I am. But you don't know why I'm here. That'll be fire. Speaking of, the end of Monday Night Raw, and I was thinking while this was happening, that arena, and here's the thing that I hate about it. It looks so good. Like the presentation, it looks, the colors is popping, the signs are back. It looks good. And when Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman was in that, Braun Breaker, was in that ring tonight, it reminded me of the NWO. How Hogan, Hall, and Nash would come in and clean the ring at the end of Nitro when they first started. It felt like that to me. And I was like, that's crazy that I'm thinking about that. But the end of the show, yes, it should be the best, but that should be the only digestible part of the show. But I felt like, yo, this is feeling real outsider-ish. Like, it was crazy.
I wonder, again, I hope they don't jump around because you got Jey Uso getting talked to by Gunther. Gunther explained to him, Jay don't feel like he's it, guys.
He cleaned his Twitter up too. Gunther took all his WWE stuff down.
He did too. This might be a little bit of wrestler revolt type of shit. You know what I mean? Like the little rebel. Like, why do that? You're not in danger, right? Or are you just doing it to say?
It could be a refresh, could be a rebrand, but most times in social media days, when people unfollow people, they don't fool with each other no more. The Miz unfollowed the WWE.
And took everything down.
At this point, we don't know nothing. Anything could happen.
But see, and that's the thing I say about
Miz
social media.
Social media is up this year.
We can guess a lot from social media alone. When people start unfollowing each other and deleting stuff, the relationship's probably over, right? And that was my thing about the social media superstar. That's the age we live in, bro. But on the flip side of that, social media got Triple H's comments looking like a Def Comedy Jam roasting session. That's
crazy. But know this, Miz's contract is up this year. June or July, August, September timeframe.
That and guess what? That contract has either already been revamped, renegotiated, or released. You don't negotiate a contract the month it expires. Those talks are happening now.
R-Truth is going. If he gets a legend deal, that'd be great. However, this is my issue. I mean, I don't really have an issue if they start doing legend deals. But you released a lot of people who ain't getting legends deals. They just released Valhalla. Going back to the Braun Strowman, Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, people who are in active storylines, and they just now we get a little more insight. It's about these contracts, what you make versus what you're putting out, and where we hold you. And if TKO says, then that's Vince McMahon would never. Vince McMahon paid Shawn Michaels $750,000 for 4 years just to keep him going to another company.
To not go.
You better not. Yeah. So Vince, I'm be honest, man. Vince, when I look at this, had like a stranglehold on wrestling. I'm not gonna let my guys go somewhere else. I know I might be losing money on paying them.
Sometimes you gotta spend money to save money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one of them.
Vince spending money because you know what? In the end, I'm gonna save money because you're not gonna go nowhere, and you're not gonna affect this outcome. So I'd rather pay you.
Shawn Michaels on WCW Nitro with the rate of classic matches he was doing, would have been crazy.
But we would have got
Shawn Michaels
Shawn and Eddie. We would have got Shawn and like
Sting.
Chris Canyon. We got Shawn and Sid. We'd have got Shawn and a lot of people, bro.
Shawn and Sting in a time where you got like, come on, bro. And the strong one.
Yeah. And then arguably Shawn and Rey Mysterio.
Shawn and Goldberg, Shawn and Lex Luger, bro. It would have been crazy. And that's why Vince said, you know what? Here goes $300,000. Sit down, keep your hair permed and blonde because we might need you. Chill out.
Yeah. R-Truth gets a Legends deal. I'd be happy to see it, bro. But I mean, it's just mixed feelings. I feel like wrestling that we know is dead.
Oh,
the wrestling, the mid tier is dead. The chasing tonight was the first time I heard a wrestler top tier talk about championship. CM Punk said, "I got to get back." He even did this. When was the last time you seen a wrestler do this and signal that they want to be champ?
Last person I see do that was Cam Newton.
You know, so it's great to see it, even though CM Punk lost. But that just furthers his storyline.
HP, and we might not even get into Raw tonight because we're just talking wrestling. You know what's bad? That we have to look for wrestling in a wrestling show.
Right. That
we're looking for the wrestling.
I hate agree with Archie sometimes. Like, fuck. Yeah.
But HP, I could tell you the last person to do that before Punk tonight.
Was it Braun Breaker?
No, believe it or not, I believe Cody Rhodes was the last person.
Yeah, but no one. Cody will let anybody hit. We learned that. Archie told me that.
I'm not talking quality of a person. I'm not saying who's better.
No,
I'm
Cody is a top star. Don't let me. Like
Cody is one of the fewer people left that will give you a nostalgic feel to do the stuff we don't see anymore.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, I get you. I'm not a Cody fan, but I do know he's a top tier guy.
Cody's a little bit of a throwback. I think that's what Gamaj is saying.
And I agree with it. I agree with it. I'm just not a Cody guy, but I'm not going to disagree with that.
And bro, and when we lose Cody, and when I say lose, I mean when Cody retires or gets released, when we lose Punk, when we lose Randy, we lose Cena, that's done.
Oh, it's over. They don't know how to make a superstar. Vince Russo talked about this where he said, name a superstar Triple H made. And it's like, but even Triple H is a Vince. And he talked about that in his Hall of Fame where he gave Vince his credit. Everybody you're seeing as top stars are still all Vince guys. We haven't seen the next level of
even Roman. Roman is a Vince guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And Jey Uso will be the first like non-Vince guy, and it ain't going good. It ain't going good. Maybe you count Cody, sure. That'll be one if you want to give it.
Do we count? Sure. Would Braun Breaker count?
He will count if he can get to the world title phase and fans want him there, and he becomes the guy. Yes.
Okay.
Well, Jay was a Vince guy. He was a tag guy, and then his main event stuff started.
No, but Vince knew better than to push him for the world. Vince made him look like his brother.
No, but I'm saying during the main event, Jey Uso stuff happened while Vince was still around. You gotta think this bloodline story started really got going during COVID.
Yeah, but they didn't push Jay to be a real main event guy. That was just a tagline. Like, to be honest, outside of the Roman Reigns,
but I'm saying he wrestled Roman in the main event, like for the title.
That's it. Yeah, but that didn't mean nothing. So did Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn ain't no world title guy. You don't look at Sami. When Sami Zayn, here's a perfect example. Sami Zayn said tonight to CM Punk, and when you win your Money in the Bank, I'm going to be coming back after you, and it's going to be a total. What was the pop, Gamaj?
Well, here's the thing. The thing about Vince
started to boo a little bit.
Vince made sure his talent looked like talent. I think the WWE guys and girls now just show up how they want, when they want, and whatever they want. Sami Zayn like he's about to go skateboarding.
Sami Zayn is
hit on a flannel jacket and some jeans.
He has good matches.
It's the care and it's the detail. Like, Gangrel got fired for his stomach showing on TV. You think Vince gonna have people out there looking any kind of way?
Vince used to tell motherfuckers go get a tan. That's why it was wild that Sheamus got over because Sheamus he just had the size, but the look Vince go tan that up, you know.
It was the look.
But
It was the details. It's a lot of things that however you feel about Vince, his hands were on certain things that made the product better and look and pop and shine like the product. It's just I don't know. I don't know the words that I'm trying to say, but it's not sloppy. It's just not as detailed. It
it's
looks
not as
great.
detailed. No.
It's just not
Hey,
the
what they say, the
champions
devil's
used
in
to
the
look like
details.
champions. Like, dog, who's that?
That's
Now it's
champion.
like,
Sergeant Slaughter beating Hulk Hogan. Sergeant Slaughter looked like the guy. You know, even the guys who are top mid-tier, top main event guys look like the guy. $1 Million Man looked like the guy. He went to the world title tournament and was
and I
handed the
think you
title
know
and no one
what?
was playing.
That's probably what makes Cody Rhodes stand out because he is a throwback.
Yeah, he is. I'm not a Cody Rhodes guy, but I'm
He's a
not going to disagree with
throwback.
that.
He's a throwback. He does a lot of
Yeah,
the old things with, and it, yeah.
how he
So
carries the title and it's the little
Yeah.
things. Cody does look like a champion. I'm not a fan, but I'm not going to
the
say now
suits.
his
Cody was
Rumble
on a
stripe.
roller
That's not
coaster
his
in a
fault.
3-piece suit. I'm still amazed by that.
A lot of his faults aren't his fault because you book him poorly. You book him against guys coming off losses. That doesn't increase his momentum. You never book him against monsters. You had the monster amongst men going against the monster for this, and then that monster didn't go against Cody and say,
You know
I'm
why?
gonna kill you." You
Because
know?
a Vince monster was a monster. We
Yeah.
don't know what a TKO monster is.
He won a match.
Logan Paul is a TKO monster.
Hey, JC Mateo's a TKO monster. What our truth say? You look husky, dog.
Y'all big boned.
Because you hear how they market like he caught him one-handed. JC Mateo is mad small. JC Mateo is my size. You know what I'm saying? Marketing him like a monster is weird. Vince would never.
That's what I'm saying.
Vince
A
would
Vince
never.
monster and a TKO monster ain't the same monster.
Yo, our truth guy for that man. I've never seen you a day of my life. True,
Then they
bro.
clip my boy wings.
He said, "Hey, you husky. Hey, is this your son? Can I take your husky son and teach him a lesson?" Hey, yo, something wrong with our truth, bro. Something is wrong with
Monsters
our
back
truth.
in the
Hey,
day, you had to look up, and they did
you had to look up.
it was
Hey,
Yeah.
you remember how Vince used to do? Vince, hey, when Sid turned, he power bombing you. He power bombing him. He taking an announcer out. Hey, Vader, what do you do? Take out Gorilla Monsoon, the president? Ambulances running. Shit. Kane ripped the door off the fucking hinges.
even like Jacob Fatu. He's not a huge guy. He's just
No, it's not.
it's him. It's the motor. He got the motor, but he's not a
Yeah.
huge. He's not huge. He's not a big guy like that. And he
Vince
lost
would have
like
never
40
tailored
pounds
the tape
before
to me.
coming to the WWE.
When they tailored the tape to him versus Braun Strowman, Vince would have never did that because it would have showed you the great disparity between a monster and a
Yeah.
guy who's scary. You know what I mean? Like Jacob Fatu is scary, but he ain't no monster. This is a monster. When you see him, you go, "Oh, what the fuck?" You see Jacob Fatu, you think you have a chance, so you find out you don't, and then you're like, "Oh shit!"
No, what's
It's
crazy? I
different.
always think about how big people say Billy Gunn is. Shout out to Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn just tapped in with Editorial Podcast. It's probably all up and down your timeline. He said, if you ain't watching this and you don't like it, he got 2 words for you. Suck it. Shout out to Billy Gunn. But people always say they don't know how, you don't realize how big Billy Gunn is because when he was in the ring, he was in the ring with Vince, Monsters, and Body Guys. I didn't realize how tall the Hardy Boys were until I met them. I thought they were
They're
like
like
little
6'4",
guys.
6'5".
Those,
Yeah.
those, those guys are huge, but in the ring, you don't think that
They look
because
small.
they were in the ring with Vince Monsters. Mankind, I said this all the time. Mankind walked by me and I was like, bro, Mankind is huge. I don't think people really understand how big of a man.
He was like 287 when he was
Dog,
wrestling.
Mankind kind of scared me a little bit when he walked by me at the convention and I realized how big he was. And I was like, bro, I don't think people understand the size. Like Vince had this thing about size, and I get it because in a sport like that, wrestling makes sense. But everything
That's
has
why he
gotten
didn't want
smaller.
Bryan Danielson.
Think about it. Basketball players, there's no big man no more in basketball, really. Football, you got 250-pound offensive linemen, bro. Back in the day, it was the Dallas Cowboys with them 500-pound linemen. You wasn't moving them. Everything has gotten smaller and faster, and I think wrestling is going to, unfortunately, take a hit because of that.
True.
Mhm.
I definitely think that that's
but
the case,
HP, I'm
too.
glad you mentioned Daniel Bryan, like in terms of height, because when I met him, he's close to my height, if not a little shorter. But then when I met Randy Orton in person for the first time, I'm like, yo, I didn't think he was like that tall.
Yeah. Vince knew how to pick him. That's why he said, I like Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to be the guy that carries his company. People, we laughed at it. I mean, we all laughed at it at some point. Remember the Philly Royal Rumble? We booed him out the building, blah, 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 blah. Well, it turned out to be true. We just needed the right guidance, the right gimmick, the right setting. And everybody just can't do that. CM Punk, he wasn't big on CM Punk, but he gave CM Punk. CM Punk has a lot. He's like Edge. Edge has no world title run longer than 4 months. However, CM Punk does. He has one that breaks a year. Matter of fact, it's like a year and some change. But everything else is small,
That's
right?
Paul Heyman's
And it's
genius there.
that's Paul Heyman, and exactly. Paul
Yeah.
Heyman guys usually have a long run in enveloped in
They
some
were going to
time.
fire CM Punk, and Paul Heyman said, give him to me. I know what to do with him. And so that's another thing. We don't know who's in these meeting rooms no more. We don't know who's saying what. We don't know who's saying, hey, give me this guy, this girl. I know what to do with him. I'll fire this. We don't. We know when Vince was on, it was Vince. We knew Vince's circle. We knew the wrestling minds. We knew the wrestling brains that were involved in it. We don't even hear those names no more. One, for the legal case stuff, you can't.
Right.
And two, we don't even know if a lot of these people are still involved in wrestling anymore. Again, once that wave passes, we're in a new wave where it's just a TV show, and we're dealing with TV execs.
Hey Archie, I'm a piggyback on you. Piggyback pause.
Big pause.
What you just said, we about to find out on that Netflix bullshit, which is a TV show where they go behind the scenes to show us the like. That's another thing Vince would never do, and I don't want to see it. I'm gonna watch. I don't want to.
They always say
Let
you don't want to know how the hot dog is made. Just put some chili on that thing, and you know what I'm saying?
yeah, give me
Put
the
some chili
glizzy,
on that
goddamn.
thing and eat it, dog. You don't want to know how the hot dog is made. If you went into the kitchen of some of these restaurants, you probably wouldn't eat here. Just look, just fry that up and give me that. It's just a weird time. We're starting to see a lot we don't need to see. Kayfabe, they might as well not even say that no more.
Nah, kayfabe definitely. I don't know when kayfabe died, but right now it's like they're gonna become a UFC style company.
But the
It's gonna be very.
UFC, and even with that, you don't know much about these fighters. You just see them fight and train. That's it.
Yeah.
WWE, we know they have shows about it. Total Divas. Excuse me. Montez and Bianca had a TV show. Like it's so much they want to show because they've slowly been moving into the reality TV space, slowly moving into really making this a TV show, and we've just not been seeing it because we've been watching it, but we've not been paying attention. And that's how the revolution's happy, baby. People watch it, but you're not paying attention. And then next thing you know, you're like, yo, what
Everything
is this? And when did this happen?
You know
and
what? You can
you
make the
can't pay
case.
for
You can make the case once they started going the reality TV show route. That's when kayfabe died.
Miz and Mrs.
an argument.
Buku seasons
That's
of
a good
Miz
argument.
and Mrs.
That's a
So
good
if the
argument.
Miz gets released, how do you think the reaction is going to be?
Not good. Another big knock on WWE.
Yeah, because that's one of
Miz
your most reliable stars.
super underutilized.
He's a
Like,
legacy. He's a legacy act
Yeah.
yeah,
and a Hall of Famer. Miz and Truth definitely both Hall of Famers.
you've turned it to where people forget about how good Miz was and how he started. Humble beginnings. You know, and so we forget because we see him taking losses to Snoop Dogg at WrestleMania and shit like that. But like, bro, but it's
Miz should be
disgusting.
the example of, you know what?
HP, does this go back to your Grand Slam champions not meaning nothing
Yeah,
now?
does anyone ever bring that up besides him? No, until
Yeah,
someone
they're
who
not going
knows
to bring it up
wrestling.
because I don't think they want people to remember or to know it. Let's not talk about it.
Let's not talk about it. He's the one. When you hear Miz, it's always Miz having to bring it up. I've done this. And he's always mad when he says it. Because honestly, I know they always say it's a gimmick, it's a character, it's a story. No, they get treated like that for real. You can't just, all right, the lights are off. Let's go back. Okay, guys, we know Miz is great. He's a Hall of Famer. Give a fuck. Miz probably gets less treatment than Jacob Fatu. You know why? Who's hot? Who's not? They ain't looking at accolades then. Because Miz would
Wrestling
have
has
everybody.
become a "what have you done for me lately" business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it's I get it, but it's sad.
And
My
see, you
Tinder
meant
guy,
you mentioned other sports. Other sports pay you for what you've done. Like if you balled out last season, you got all this shit coming up. We're gonna look at what you did. That's how we value. Wrestling, like, yo, what you did for me. All right, here go your money for this lap dance. That's it. What have you done?
we're gonna give you some minutes, or hey, this is the role we got for even Carmelo. Carmelo didn't want to play because he didn't want to come off the bench, but that was his choice. You see what I'm saying? And his off the bench role was still gonna be fourth quarter. You know them last 5 minutes is you, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? But he chose not to. R-Truth being in the main event picture, doing a match with Lil Jimmy, and then all of a sudden just saying, hey, I got released. And you're like, wait, what? This shit got to be a fix.
Part of me thinks he wasn't supposed to put that message out.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Part of me really thinks that because of if it was a random Sunday, like random Sunday, and I was like, and Road Dogg actually commented on it and deleted his tweet.
Yeah.
So he's a producer still. So I don't think he might have supposed to roll that out the way he did, but it got shit shaken. And I always say, peace don't get nothing done. War is what changes things. Sometimes you got to fight. Sometimes you got to shake the table. It has to be some kind of conflict to get the next resolution. I don't know what this means or what this does, but it definitely is going to affect something moving forward with the way things are done or how it's done. And, R-Truth he had to be the martyr for it. He had to be the one. Somebody always has to be the one. I did not think it would be Ryan Killings from Charlotte, North Carolina.
It's funny you say that, Archie. We've watched the last 2 or 3 releasings and we just comment on it. We do a little, Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler on them. What's going to happen now is people are going to like really focus in because what came out in the last like 48 hours was or in the last 2 weeks, Vince wanted to buy back the company. He wasn't happy. Before that, he wasn't talking to Stephanie and Triple H. Then TKO kind of laughing at him, haha, WWE ain't up for sale. Then it was like, hey, we got a new deal with Slim Jim. And guess what? We gonna put Slim Jim on the tables now. The fucking breaking tables that they use it's just out of control. It is out of control. Then you got Metro Boomin. He trying to redo theme songs. One of the people named was Jacob Fatu, but also Seth Rollins. You can't redo that.
I don't need no
The fans
808s.
know it. WWE is all over the fucking place. And Archie, you've mentioned it so many times, and now I'm seeing it to the point where it like disgusts me. We're gonna try to get over with celebrities. That's Logan Paul's stick. I've been doing this for less than y'all. I do it at a better clip than y'all. John. It's just
they're going younger. They're aging people out. I had a job one time at a retail company. I was a manager, and we had people there that was making $20+ an hour, damn near 30, some of them, but they've been with the company 20, 25. They earned every cent they made, right? And they had these schedules that was locked in. But when they was trying to age these people out, all of a sudden, everybody had to have open availability, right? They changed the attendance policy and everything. They made it very difficult for people who have been doing their same routine for 20 years to continue their same routine. Plus, we're going to offer you promotions. If you don't take promotions, we're going to offer you severance packages. Yes, that's business. Because they were thinking, what we paying one person, we can pay 2 people. We could take that 30 you making and split it 15-15 to somebody who's never had a job before, to somebody who might just be looking for anything they can get. $15 an hour, that's going to keep somebody off the street. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to take Miss Hilda, give her severance, get her up out of here, and we're going to hire these two younger guys or girls for $15 an hour. And for somebody who's 18, 19 years old, hey, hell, somebody 20, 30, 40 in the situation, hey, that's money coming in.
There's a lot of homosexuals out there. Hobo.
That's business.
That's people who fuck for homes.
That's business, and unfortunately, is collateral damage happens in business all the time, and it's just it just sucks again because we don't know people's lifestyles or how they live in. I do know R-Truth was doing music. I can see R-Truth getting. I can see him getting into movies.
Country song, you heard it?
Yeah, I can see him getting into movies. Hey, Metro Boomin, how about you do a song with R-Truth? Like that'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like
that'll trend.
So, but I don't know. Hey, R-Truth, just don't make no disrespect. Rest in peace, but don't make no Macho Man album. We good on that.
All I know is they said R-Truth got OnlyFans.
I saw that
you
too.
Might get a little. Talking about, and you might get a little Jimmy.
Hey, R-Truth violent. So, hey, I don't even think we're gonna get into Raw, man. Real highlights of Raw, real quick. We're gonna get up out of here, man. This is a good conversation, though. I have not even looked at the chat. Shout out to the Click. Shout out to the Horseman 97 Wednesday Night Wars. HP. We may not even get into Raw. Did we decide about Friday nights or not? Because we need to let the people know.
I mean, to be honest, I think I like that schedule you proposed, bro. I think we should cover SmackDown, but it's like physically what I have going on in life, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday works way better for me.
Oh, I mean, I'm cool with that. We've been talking about
3 hours. Hate that shit.
On 3 hours on a Friday is just rough. That's all. Hell, I tap in Saturday to cover SmackDown if I have to. But yeah, so I think moving forward, chat and everybody that's tuning in, we are gonna switch from covering SmackDown on Fridays to covering. We're going back to NXT. So you'll get us Monday doing the main event of Raw, Tuesday doing the main event of NXT, and Wednesday for the Wednesday Night Wars. So we're gonna do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pap, give y'all a nice little 3-piece. And if something happens crazy or definitely PLEs, we're gonna cover Saturday. And we might tap in on Saturdays as well. We don't know. But like I always say, hit that notification button so you know what's going on with the Addis Rap Podcast. We just got HP got some life stuff going on. I got some events and travel coming up that's going to take place on the weekends. So this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday works better for us. So yeah, and we missed covering NXT. That's my favorite night of the week, Tuesday. So we get back to NXT, and then NXT got a lot going on right now. So I'm excited about getting into that as well. So yeah, you'll see us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays from now on. And if that changes, we'll let you know.
Is that starting tomorrow? Yeah, I forgot today is Monday.
Yeah, it's up to you. If you want to start tomorrow, start tomorrow.
Fuck it. Tomorrow, yeah. Taco Tuesday. I might come on this bitch with a taco. You know how I get.
That's fine. NXT Taco Tuesdays.
Tacos and taco meat hanging out this month.
Then that way we can have our weekends free, and Fridays Fridays will be Friday. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have nothing else, man. This was a real good talk. This is a wrestling podcast, and sometimes we just talk wrestling. Raw was solid. I mean, from what I saw at the beginning, Sammy and Punk talking about the summer of Punk. We'll see what happens. And he
lost his qualifying match. You know, El Grande Americano won that.
I saw your mind said we might get us a Stephanie Rhea story down the line.
So just go because I forgot the next Taco Tuesday. Andrade, Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Penta, and now El Grande Americano is the 6 members locked in for this Money in the Bank men's qualifying match. So interesting.
I mean, I'm gonna call it what it is. I just think and maybe I'm wrong. I think the men's is more underwhelming than the women's. I think the women's is better stacked.
The women's is Naomi, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and Stephanie Vicura. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know who the fuck is coming out of that one.
I don't
Lots
think
of
it's
ways you
Stephanie or Julia. I think it's a little too early for them, but this is going to be the place where they're going to show people what they can do. Alexa Bliss, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's full-time, part-time, some of the time, none of the time. I don't know. I would love for Naomi to get
She's the
that.
one who doesn't.
But Naomi getting it only makes sense if Bianca or Jay has a title.
It just makes that match that much like.
Then she
higher.
becomes like a damn near stalker, obsessed with it. Like make her like what they try to make DDP with. But good. But good.
I forgot about that shit.
But good and better. Imagine Bianca having a title and Naomi at her house watching like Montez sleep and shit. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Archie,
I can
go ahead and do the application, brother. Just go ahead and do it.
I
would not
once a
mind.
year for jobs. They don't hire me. I think I got to start putting that on white on the application and not black. I don't know. Something ain't working.
I wouldn't mind if Chad Gable wins because Seth Rollins is like such an easy pick. He's so much. When you name all the men,
Seth Rollins is
tears.
obvious.
Yeah, like there's no
I would
other.
like Solo to
like,
get it. Solo's been he's like really entertaining now, bro.
Yes. What was that shit he did to Jacob? He's like, yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, you know what you mean.
And he been doing TikTok dances outside the ring. Yeah, Solo. So I guess we'll do some predictions maybe Wednesday after the Wednesday Night War, where we book in some matches. Like what would have happened if this person won and not that person? Take it a little further. Barring nothing else happens, because all eyes are on the WWE tonight.
Yeah. It's a lot going on.
The wrestling world is watching how things are being done, handled, and being presented. I thought somebody was going to slip a little something in there to, pay a little respect to truth, but they probably sent out an email. You don't.
Oh, yeah. Don't do it.
Because if they muting the "We Want Truth" chants, then they got a PR fire on their hands with this.
Yeah. Wrestlers, they all post it, but they can post. But when creative or production or somebody in staff, hell no.
Yeah.
So.
But we'll see, man. Gamad, you got anything before we get up out of here?
Nah, not really.
Vando, Nixon 9, baby. Nixon 9.
Nah, I'll just say this with the women's. Right. I want Naomi to win it, but I think it's going to be Rhea.
Gamad, I saw your message about the New York celebrating too early, too.
I mean, like
Gamad was tight.
I wasn't. Nah, New York does this every time with every team with any sport. Like we get. I gotta say we, because I'm a New Yorker. We get hype just for participation, but we ain't win nothing. Like, oh my God, we made it after 25 years, but we ain't win it. What we
gotta enjoy the ride, baby. Now the Giants is tricky.
Yo,
the Giants.
I know what year they won it. Year 2000, World Series. New York Mets versus the New York Yankees. I was in fucking boot camp. I couldn't even participate in this shit. I'm like, God damn. World Series, Subway Series.
And me being a Mets fan, I'll say that publicly. We ain't win it. We won the Eastern Conference. We won the National League at least, but we ain't win the series. So what I'm celebrating for?
Yeah, man, you gotta be happy for something, bro. Be happy when our truth got.
No, I'm at least happy we got the NL joint, because at least we got that.
So you're a Mets fan and a Knicks fan?
No, I was never a Knicks fan. I only supported the Knicks because it was still New York.
That Big L shit? I'm from New York and never was a fan of the Knicks. And I'm all about expanding my shit. I was in the van with both hands.
I always wonder what would have happened if Big L had got to really get into his Rockefeller bag. All the world keep holding it down. Big L.
Jay-Z would be
Big L. Big Picture was a fire album. I just found, damn, Ebonics and all that.
Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous good too. Yo, oh man, I'm not gonna get into that hip hop bag. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what is it? The iron horse is the train, and champagne is bubbly. A deuce is a honey that's ugly. If a girl is fine, she a dime. A suit is a fine, jewelry is shine. And if you in love, that mean you blind and your wine is
I
red.
bought
Oh
that
man, a
album.
face card is $100 bill. A very long hard stare is a grill. And if you come on, bro, I
Remember
can't
when you
go
had to
into
go
that.
buy
That shit was
albums?
crazy.
Buying albums used to be fun. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yes, I'm getting a record player for the crib with the vinyls. Me and my son have decided that's what we doing. Like,
Yeah, we got one. Record players of fire, dog.
you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fire. Yeah, but yeah, man. But records, man, records cost a little bit. But if you get a nice collection, it's fire. But yeah, HP, got anything before we get up out of here?
Nope, no more lady friends. Boom, bang, we out of here. And just like that.
Well, on that note, this is Attitude Era Podcast. Shout out to everybody that's new to the channel. Shout out to the Click. Shout out to the Horseman 97. Shout out to the Mets fans out there. You know that all 10 of y'all. How you land on the Mets, Jumai? That's wild, bro. I don't know. I'm a Braves fan, so I mean, hey, we didn't have football in New Orleans growing up, in the Braves.
Yeah, but y'all was dominant in the '90s in baseball like a motherfucker. Greg Maddux on the mound.
Chipper Jones, Javi Lopez, Greg Maddux,
y'all
David
motherfuckers is
Justice,
killing.
Fred McGriff, all them. Yeah, shout out to them the old Braves. But yeah, man, we'll be back tomorrow night for the Tuesday night. The first, we did this in a minute. NXT recap. Again, Friday nights for right now. Our Friday night is Tuesday night. So we're going to hit y'all in the mouth Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays right here at our podcast for our live recaps and Wednesday Night Wars. Wednesday Night Wars is going to be your favorite. Wednesday going to be your new favorite day of the week. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, tap in this Wednesday to find out. I think we got to pick up some free agents. I don't know. I'll talk to HP about that
That's supposed to be this week. Yeah.
And man, I hope this week is good to you and good for you. Hope this weekend was everything you needed it to be. We didn't really get too much into Raw tonight because we just had some news to cover. That's we journalists, baby. We are media personalities and journalists. You know what I'm saying? And this is Attitude Era Podcast. That is Gamaj. That is King HP. I am the Archie Carter. We will see y'all tomorrow night during the main event. Vinny, now you about to piss me off. I was on my way out.
I almost didn't click it. I was like, oh shit, I see that.
Who that? I don't care about all that who they weird shit y'all be talking in Cincinnati, Ohio. Who that? It ain't no who they. It's who that. We let y'all have Red Cash, Lil Bow Wow, and Bone Thugs. Y'all good. It's who that, dog. And speaking of, we do have the Attitude Era Podcast Fantasy Football League we are doing this year during football season. We still putting it together. We got a few heads in there already. So, yeah, if you want to be part of that, hit me up on Instagram at @TheArchieCarter. I'll give you more info all about that. Shout out to the chat. I wasn't really checking the chat tonight because this was a good conversation, man, and I enjoyed it. Again, shout out to Gamai. Shout out to King HP. I'm the Archie Carter. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. NXT main event. Attitude Era Podcast. We out this piece. You heard?